Hey everyone, you're kicking it with the Vince&Al Podcast, hitting you up with some Kenny G. Little little jazzier transition than normal. Uh, we're your host. I'm Vince.
And I'm Al.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Al, you're a big fan of Kenny G?
I'm starting to become a fan. Here's a funny story. I was at a furniture place with my family. I don't know why, but the music that they played was smooth jazz, and I just all of a sudden just like started listening to it, and I just found myself like nodding my head. I was like, huh. So I created a Pandora playlist, and ever since then, for the past couple of days, I've been kind of a big fan. So I had to get Vince to at least do one intro with some smooth jazz or some Kenny G.
Yeah, I used to play the saxophone, and
You did.
I never wanted to look at like Trey Parker and those old guys back in the day. I always wanted to listen to more modern saxophone, which was Kenny G. So he was my idol for just a little bit. Ended up doing a little project on him too, but I've kind of forgot all that knowledge that I wrote down about him. So today, a little bit different. We've received a couple requests about a Q&A. Now we don't have any fan submitted Q&As. So when we have a big enough following down the road and we have some Q&A demands with some specific questions, we'll definitely answer those. But for this episode, we're just going to take turns asking each other questions that we really don't know the answers to about each other. Some that are deep, some that are just whatever come to mind, can be super random. Um, a series of would you rathers. I mean, a bunch of different questions. And I'm ready to get started if you are.
I'm ready to go.
Do you want me to start first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh, wait a second. I had one and I totally just forgot it. I thought I had these wrote down somewhere. But
I see how it is.
I know. Do you want to go
If
first?
this helps,
Yeah, no
if this
problem.
helps
Here, give me a second.
if this helps, do you want me to ask you first?
Sure.
All right. Okay.
Pranked.
Okay. So, Vince, um, obviously that's not your real name. That's the name that I give to you, like out of love, out of just us being bros. Um, and I know you hate when people call you Vinny. And this question kind of tied into it. If you could change your name, if you wanted to, but if you could change your name, first of all, why would that be your name? And then second of all, like, why did you choose that name?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I'll be real with you. My real name's Vincent. Well, technically Vince is still Vincent, but I prefer for people to call me Vincent. But for the sake of the podcast, I go by Vince. And I've always loved how there's no one else named Vincent in my entire school except for a kid who's now in 7th or 8th grade, and his name, he goes by Vince. But there's no true Vincent. And I think that's so unique. But if I had to change my name, it would probably be something else really unique that no one else would have, because I've always liked that. I've always liked that about me. Um, but I've always liked the name Jordan, mostly because Jesus was baptized in the River of Jordan. I was actually baptized by water from Jordan, and you also have, the basketball player and all of that, but really it's refers to the river in which Jesus was baptized. So I like Jordan.
I like that. And going with how your name's really unique, I think that's really cool. My name, since Vince came out, his name's Vincent.
Whoops.
My name, okay, not came out, but anyway, my name's Alan, short for Al, and I think Vince and Al sounds really cool. Not like, I don't know, I think it's kind of the extra syllables, Vincent and Alan, kind of throw things off. But I think I don't really recall anyone else being named Alan um, in my school, so I think it's just really cool that I both have really unique names.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a perk within itself. I also think that teachers don't forget your name easily either.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'll ask you, who is your number one inspiration in life?
Oh, wow. Right away. Okay. That's hard. Obviously, my number one inspiration is the man upstairs. That being God. And there's a lot of reasons for it. And maybe I can talk about that in later episodes. But I'm gonna take this as a person on this earth, as my main motivation. And there's actually a couple people. One being my dad. Me being a soccer player, I love Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's just his work ethic and what he does on the field is really impressive. But I'm gonna go back to my dad. I think I know people say, oh, it's kind of cliche, but in reality it is him because he didn't grow up here we're in the United States, he didn't grow up here. He grew up actually this before in Colombia. And, he went through a lot of things growing up. He was fortunate and blessed to grow up and have a good life, have a good home, have a good family. Just like I'm fortunate enough to be in that situation, and you're fortunate, Vince, also to have a great family. But just him coming here and having, not knowing English at all, and he met my mom and married her, stuff like that. But he didn't really know English, and he had to get a job. He had a kid, and that kid being me, and he just worked, and he works so hard. He always tries to take time out of his day and spend time with me and my siblings and my family, and it's just awesome. I have great memories. I play FIFA, and him and I play FIFA a lot, and we watch sports. We're huge Cleveland fans. We watch Indians, Cavs, Browns, and he always wants to share his legacy with me. And that legacy of him being hardworking, and all the small things that he teaches me. He says, one of his legacies is teaching me how to drive, and his other legacy is teaching me how to ride a bike, and all those things. It's just I look up to him and admire him, and so that's the person I look up to, being my dad.
That's awesome, and it's truly not a cliched answer because our parents do so much for us that we're truly never going to realize until we're a parent ourselves. But truly, Alan's dad, I know you by name, but I'm not going to say your name, but you are a great guy. So if you're listening, shout out to you.
Thanks, man. Shout out to your dad. He's also a great guy.
Thanks, man. He's pretty cool.
He is really awesome. He is really cool. Go Oakland. That's his football team, by the way.
There you go.
It's his dad.
Oakland Raiders.
Okay, so here's my question, and I think you could take it a couple ways, and I think for all of us as humans, we always tend to look at ourselves and judge ourselves. Does that make sense? And this is how this question makes sense to what I just said.
Yeah.
Vince, this is from a website. How many times do you look at yourself in a mirror?
Oh my gosh, a day?
Yeah.
Probably like 20 times. My brother would argue about 100. Yeah, that sounds really self-centered, but
I would argue for both of us about 100.
It's not a self-centered thing. It's just I always want to make sure I'm looking my best because you never know who you're gonna meet, what impressions you're gonna make. It's not like, oh dang, beautiful, how you doing today? It's more of the sense of, is my hair sticking up? And I think that's all right to make sure that you're looking all right, to actually care about your appearance. So that was a great question.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, next question. What cologne do you use?
What cologne do I use?
Oh yeah.
All right. I actually have a lot of cologne that I kind of alter. I could go through like a whole week of like using a different cologne. I don't really have a go-to.
Nice.
Actually, I do have a go-to. I don't remember its exact names. It's like this weird like LGH number something. It's made by Avon.
Oh, nice.
It's really good. But the one that actually means the most to me is actually there's two. I got these two colognes from the last time I went to Colombia, and just like here in today's world, but also in Colombia, you know, how you smell, how you look is much bigger in Colombia.
Really?
It is, and
That's neat.
yeah. So I got one cologne for my grandpa, and it has like more of an orangey smell to it, which I love. And then one given to me by my cousin, and it's probably one of my most favorite smells. I think cologne's just so powerful because like, whenever you smell something, it reminds you. You know, so whenever I spray that cologne from Colombia, it reminds me right away. Like, reminds me of my grandpa. This reminds me of my cousin. You know, this reminds me, it's a cologne that I wear before I go play soccer. It's crazy as that sounds. I wear cologne in a soccer game. But so that's not my. I don't have a definitive answer, but that's my answer for you.
That's awesome, dude. I like it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you even more. All right. All right. Here's another deep question. If there was one thing you could change about yourself, what would that be?
Dang. I just asked you about your cologne, and you're asking me all this personal stuff. Wow, I gotta step up my game.
No.
One thing I could change?
Yeah.
One thing I talked about in one episode is, I think it was escaping your bubble. I think I mentioned, if you think there's a girl that's cute, or you see a girl at the store that you just want to talk to, or a girl in that girl in your class that you're extremely shy towards, I'm a big believer in sometimes the people that you don't talk to are the people that you want to talk to the most. I'm a big believer in that. And I was encouraging that if there is a girl that you want to talk to, or if you're a girl listening and there's a guy you want to talk to, then just hike up the nerve and do it. I wish it was that easy, because I wish I had the ability to just go up to a girl and start talking to her. But sometimes it's not always that easy. So I wish I could change how I approach conversation towards certain people.
That's what you would change?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, I kind of asked that in a weird way, but no, but thank you though, because it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard for us, because it's easy for us to think, that we're perfect, and it really takes someone who's humble and self-aware and just confident in themselves to come out with an answer like that. So really proud of you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay, this next one, it's I have a little story to go along with it today. So
all right.
Today I took a practice. I think it was like I took a practice ACT. Okay.
Okay.
Most boring thing in my entire life, but if it'll help me down the road, it'll help. One of the stories I had to read was about a little girl who wanted for Christmas a Barbie dream house, I think it was called. Pretty much like the coolest, most up-to-date Barbie playhouse, but it has all these cool features. And she ended up overhearing her parents say, like, I don't know how we're going to be able to make this work, all of that. So Christmas morning came by, she ran downstairs, and she sorted through all of her presents, and she was devastated because she didn't see a box that resembled the size of the dream house. Now you're probably thinking, dang, that's really selfish of her. But at the same time, if the girl's under the age of 10, you and I both remember how easy it was to get our hopes up.
Yeah.
Um, and now you and I look at things differently because we're young men and we view every situation differently, and we would be grateful for anything. But then the dad says, "Oh, sorry, there was a present Santa wasn't able to sneak under the tree. Here you go." And the girl got so excited it was the same exact size as the playhouse and everything. She opened it up, and it was not what she thought it was. It was actually a Barbie dollhouse that her dad handcrafted for her.
Oh.
And that's like, how nice of him. The hours that it took into making that, it took a lot to go out and buy materials to make it. But then the girl looks at it and it's not up to date. It's like a ranch style house and it doesn't have an elevator like the Barbie house does. And the girl ends up storming off and absolutely hates it. And I said, wow. And then the story ends with the girl saying how she's older now and that's her most prized possession because she notices how much her dad put work into it just to make her happy. And she felt bad she didn't notice it. So one of two things. First off, what is your most prized possession that you own besides a family member? And then the second thing is, do you remember like what's one item you really wanted for Christmas one year that you got or you didn't, but I'm guessing maybe you got it. Um, and that just like brings you back in nostalgia ways.
Wow. My I don't really know what my prized possession would be, and I'm gonna answer it in this way that prized possessions, I think many people think as the most expensive,
Right.
which is when sometimes the most prized possessions are the most expensive. Um, but because I could say my phone that I have, that being the iPhone, that's my most prized possession. But I can live without that. And at the end of the day, we could lose all our possessions and hopefully wouldn't be broken down about it. But I'm trying to think of that one possession that if I were to have lost it or lose it,
You'd lose your
I would
mind.
be hurt. And I think for me, a prized possession, when I put it into that format of saying, if I were to lose this one thing, it would hurt. I think it would be something that someone gave to me, and it would be almost like a handcrafted or something that's really rare. For like if I were to lose my phone in a fire, yeah, it would suck. But that could be replaceable. I can get another iPhone. I can get another MacBook. I can get another shirt, another pair of shoes. But if someone makes something for you, and that gets burned or lost or destroyed or stolen or it's unreplaceable. And so that's how I would have a prized possession. I have a couple good things that people have given me that if they were to be destroyed, I could never get back. But there really isn't that one go-to. Like, I'm sorry, I couldn't really answer that question. But,
Oh, you're fine.
On the Christmas thing, wow, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, not trying to interrupt. When I read that and that, because I kind of like felt her pain, but then I'm like, wait a minute, there has to be another side to this story. And then I read that it was her most prized possession. It's gonna sound so cliche. It's gonna sound so cheesy, but I literally just put my pencil down and I'm like, what have my parents gave or made for me that I'm gonna remember in 20 years and I'm still gonna own, and it's gonna make me think of them? And I couldn't come up with an answer. But then I flash forwarded to me 20 years from now, holding that thing, hoping that my parents are still here, and I'm like, and it just made my heart like sad, but yet so warm because there's so many things that surround me that just fill me with joy that have been made for me or took a lot of effort to be able to buy to give to me. I just couldn't be more appreciative. I could not be more appreciative.
And going with how when they were short on money and that guy just still wanted to make the dreams come true for his daughter, I could just only imagine his face, just being so excited. That probably made his entire month of just making that and just hoping and anticipating what his daughter's reaction would be, and then to see her reaction,
the
way that it did probably, destroyed him. And it just goes to, how fortunate we are, or just how loving some parents are,
Yeah.
I remember my parents, and I'm still just taken back from this, they bought me my first car, and I really wasn't expecting it. And the way it went was, my dad was like, okay, hey, we went as a whole family. My dad's like, take your wallet, we're going to go visit someone, but just take your wallet because we might need something. I was like, oh, okay. So that my wallet means that I have my license. That's where my license is.
Right.
And so we walk in, and I see a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's parked in a driveway, and it's an older car, but it's really pretty, really nice. And it had like a for sale sign. I was like, what? Okay, anyway. So I walked into this house, and my dad works with this lady. And so he knew the family, we're talking, and the lady says, my dad's name, and she says, would you like to share with your son the real reason why you're here? And I could just see my dad and my mom's face just light up, and just like, they had this all planned out, they had this all ready. He pulls out of his pocket a pair of keys, and he's like, son, your mother and I are just so proud of this. We never thought we'd get this opportunity. We want to present you with this car.
Oh, dude, that is awesome.
And I feel bad because my reaction, I know, wasn't what they were expecting. Like, what most kids do is, jump up and down and start crying. And for me, it was just such a selfless act, such a selfless gift, that I was in a loss for words. I was in a loss for I was just like, I couldn't. My dad was handing me a pair of keys. I just got my license a couple days ago, and he's handing me a pair of keys. And I was just thinking about all the sacrifices he had to make for me to hand me those keys, and I couldn't do it. And then a couple days later, I showed my true emotions, but it took me a while. But of course, it did take a long time. But we both shared our insight on that story.
That actually like warms my heart. Thanks so much for telling me that. I mean, I knew that you have a car, and you've told me stories about it, but I didn't know that story. So thanks for sharing that with me, dude.
No problem, bro. All right. How are we doing on time?
Right now we're at like 23 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that was a good place to end it, but if you want to go for a couple more, it's up to you.
No, I think that's a good place.
Yeah.
Vince, here's a question for you. Last one for Q&A.
Okay.
What are your goals for this podcast channel?
Goals for this podcast channel. Well, last episode, we mentioned a possible face reveal. I think you and I both agreed when we started out that this is a podcast, meaning no face, just our voices, and that's all that matters. Well, also on that note, you and I talked about this is for us. If we acquire viewers, subscribers along the way, that's all a bonus. That's all a bonus. And we've had nothing but bonuses, and that's why we're always so thankful. So if we ever get to the point where we have enough demand for a face reveal, or to the point where we're uploading every day, which we have lives. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but if it ever does, I'll guarantee you that the content will be stepped up. But reality though, not talking about down the road, just in general, the goal for this channel or down the road is just to never lose our friendship and always keep what we have going so we can make this channel continue to grow. But it's really just talking to you. And yeah, it is. It's just because I enjoy it so much. I know you do too. And if the viewers enjoy listening to us, then great, because the more of you in the conversation, the better. So.
No, that's a great answer, and that's true of what this podcast channel is all about. It's just you and I being able to talk, and I personally learned so much just from you, and I have a greater I felt like I knew you so well, and I'm learning things every podcast channel about you. So
yeah, same here. And
I think this channel is a blessing in many ways, and I really want to see I just want to see it keep going and having people join our family. But at the end of the day, it's just a bonus, and spending time with you is all that truly matters. So it's just awesome.
I would agree, man. I would agree.
All right. Well, that's all I have for today's episode. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think we covered it all. We're at like 26 minutes. Do you have a quote?
I don't. I do not.
I should have one right here. My gallery will load. Okay, got one. All right. This is a friendship quote. Ready?
Awesome.
Sitting silently beside a friend who is hurting may be the best gift we can give.
That's facts. that's true. I think that's true.
Truly, is that just being there for a friend, that is what being a true friend really means. And you and I are definitely true friends because we're always there for each other.
We are.
Yeah. With that, guys, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, like, be a part of our family. We're going to continue to pump out great content, more Q&As. Feel free, every video, leave a question, and we'll answer it down the line. We will assure you that.
We will. Yeah.
Sorry.
Love to hear. No.
Pause.
We love to hear what you guys have to say. So without too much further ado, that's all I have for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A, and hopefully we do a Q&A with your guys' questions. With that, see you guys. Peace.
See you guys. Enjoy the jazz. Take care, guys.